Hi guys, the presenter said that we can begin. So are you guys willing to show your faces so we can begin the presentation? So I'm not like just talking to myself or a wall. Hi, welcome everyone. Let's see. Beihong, Alina, Kiana, Kenneth, Audrey, what's this name? Mayari? Bailey, okay. I see a Steph, I think Steph, Joy. Okay, so Kenneth showed his face for a second and then went away. Okay, at least I'm not talking. Thank you for showing your faces and welcome. I know it's kind of early for a orientation to the San Jose State, since it's the fall is like probably feels like a distance from now, right? I mean, I don't know why I said distance, but anyway, months from now. But how many, can you let me know if you just finished a nursing program or just about to? That means that fall, I mean, boy, I'm getting all wrong. May 2021 is your graduation date from your ADN program. So a lot of you, are you finished or you're just finishing up now? Or are you done?
This is our last week.
It's your last week, like with finals and everything? So it's a busy time to have this meeting. Well, that's great. And so that means that pretty soon then you would be sending in the paperwork to try and get an appointment for your NCLEX exam, right? And that's great. And for our program, as long as you do take your NCLEX and achieve your RN license before the beginning of the second semester, that's fine. So, you know, what you need to do is send it to the registrar's office. I'll give you that email at another time because I know you probably have too much on your mind right now. But yeah, and you send it to the registrar's office so it becomes part of your record for towards graduation, because it's worth 20 points, 20 units, I should say, towards your BSN degree, because from all your prerequisite courses and your ADN program, there's a limit of 70 units that you can get from your from community college. So we know you took a lot more courses than that. I know that even though an ADN is supposed to be a 2-year program or something, that takes far longer than 2 years, since you had to take all your prerequisite courses. So that's how you get that extra 20 units for your NCLEX and RN license. Even if you've already got your RN license and you've had it for a while, we still need it on record, and that gives you the the enough units to apply for graduation. Since this is only a 3-semester program, people typically start their application process for graduation a year before they graduate. So you're starting in fall 2021 and you're graduating in fall 2022 in December. So it's kind of like you got to get to it right away. So during semester 1, hopefully you'll all get your RN license numbers, and then you'll submit them, and then you can apply for graduation. Does that make sense? Okay, so that was, so I guess you don't really have the summer off. You can celebrate for a short time, but then it's like kind of like back to work, huh? To get ready for your taking the test. So is that everyone, or is there anyone that's not in that situation? Everybody's a new ADN student. Wow. Okay. So yeah. And then this meeting is, you're just getting used to San Jose State and all the logistics of it, and the university. It's kind of there are different nuances to that being such a big place, right? So that's why we have Jeremy that plays interface between everything you did at community college and all your courses, like general ed requirements and all that stuff, to make sure it gets transferred correctly into your My San Jose State record. towards your degree. And my job is that I am the coordinator of the RN to BSN program. So I know all 8 courses that you take in our program. They're sequenced over 3 semesters if you take it full time, and anything above 7 units is full time. So I want people to be prepared that, you know, it's a lot of work. It's a little bit different than the work than what you've had as a ADN student, because knock wood, you finished clinical hours with the exception of community health. So you have 1 clinical rotation to take in your 2nd semester, which is community health. But aside from that, I'm assuming that you are, you know, clinically competent. Like, so what to expect in the fall is you have to take 3 courses. N112, Professional Practice Success, is pretty much a course that we address Benner's novice to expert theory, just how it's really to help you be the best nurse you can. We talk about transitions from school to the setting where you're going to be practicing. Sometimes your first job isn't the job that you know, it's not your dream job, but it's the job you could get. And then how to work towards your kind of dream job or your ultimate career in nursing. So you get exposure to different areas of nursing and through case studies and different exercises and videos that we're going to watch. And so 112 is a 3-unit course, and it's a hybrid course. That means that it's primarily online, but 5 times we are going to meet synchronously. So when we're talking about online courses, you know, that are through Canvas Learning Management System, all of you guys know Canvas pretty well? Okay, so online, often, like, there's online courses that are totally asynchronous. That means that pretty much you never meet live with your instructor at all. You just, you know, have weekly assignments, and then you submit your assignments. They're graded, it's returned to you, and that's it. What we have for this course is that we're going to have at least 5 synchronous meetings, and also, which is, I'll let you know ahead of time. It'll be right on the course syllabus what meeting times we will be getting together like this live. That's why I'm so glad that you're showing your faces, so that it is kind of interactive as if it was in the classroom. And we'll do like discussions and things like that. And there might be a couple of times that you come on campus. One day that you're going to come on campus is that I've already arranged the date is Tuesday, August 17th. And that's 2 days before the beginning of the semester, but we are going to have an orientation. And because you're a cohort of 35 people and it's less than 50, hooray, we can meet live. And we're going to be in a classroom going over stuff about the program. And then we're going to have lunch outside. So you're going to get to meet each other in person and meet the instructors in person and go over that. So that is, it's not mandatory, but it's a nice way to get to know each other. So that is our orientation get together. Yes, go ahead, Audrey, you have a question.
So for the 5 times we meet for that course, did you say that it's on Zoom and could potentially be in person?
Okay, yes, I will let you know whether it's in person or not. Right now, I don't know the schedule, but everything that's on Zoom that is synchronous, that will be recorded, because I understand that a lot of you may be looking for work, and then you might get a job and you might have this interview or this appointment and you might miss it. So if it's on Zoom, it'll be recorded. If it's in person, I have to find out how many people can be there. That's why I don't know the information right now, because, you know, we've been all online last semester, but having some synchronous meetings like this. But now that it's a return to campus, I'd love you guys to be able to take advantage of our simulation lab and go through clinical simulations. You've probably been through some of them, but, you know, but we have fun doing things our own way. And so I'd like you to be part of that. And I don't think all 35 of you can be there on the same day. So there'll probably be a sign up list for that you would come one of those days. So that would eliminate one of those days. So if I say you have to come, have to be in person 5 times, there be some fixed times when the whole group, all 35 of us, are together. And then there might be one time when it's just a small group of you go to the sim lab and do some simulation activities. Most of the times when we meet as in class, it's going to be, or like on Zoom, it tends to be maybe 2.5 hours at the most. People can't go longer than that. And then in person, it's probably going to be about the same. If it's simulation, it might go a little longer, like 3 hours or stuff. But, since you're paying for San Jose State, and, I want you to have the benefits of the campus environment, hopefully, Jeremy, our union will be open so that they could have lunch or stuff like that. You can bring lunch or you don't know.
Fall, I'm not 100% sure. I know the plan is to try and open most things. They might have like a limit on how many people could be in there.
Yeah.
But,
or there's local restaurants all over on all sides of the campus. There are places to eat and we'll see. At least hopefully one of the cafes or something will be open so you could hang out, or, we have a Starbucks and that kind of stuff. And you can take advantage of other things on campus, including the Student Wellness Center, since you do, pay for those fees. They do provide certain services. I'm not sure, I know there was some mention about COVID vaccines and stuff like that. I'm not quite sure yet what they're going to have or don't have, but there's that, and there's mental health counseling that you all can use. And so, and we have a great library, and, so there's other reasons to come on campus to get an idea of what it's like, but it won't be too many times and you'll have plenty of notice. So I hope to have all those dates before, by that August 17th, you should have all the dates through December that you would need off from work if you're working. Okay, so I talked about 112, so that's kind of the hands-on kind of fun class. Then you have another class that's called Nursing Theories, or Theoretical Foundations of Nursing. That is, more of a, it's in the title, theories, right? So you have a textbook, and there's reading and writing and discussions and mini quizzes on various nursing theories and stuff. That's a little bit of a component that the associate degree program doesn't have time for, like theory of planned behavior and, the reasons for why we do what we do, or how we teach people, how we teach patients in nursing education, how healthcare decisions are made. So that's a course that will be primarily asynchronous and online. Dr. Tung teaches, or it might be Miss Stevens, but anyway, you probably only meet 2 or 3 times, or maybe 2 times. I think what often they do is they have office hours. So even if the class is just always online, keep in mind that every instructor, including myself, and I'll be teaching 112, I will have office hours. That means that you just email me and tell me you need to talk to me about an assignment or whatever, and then we would be Zooming like this. So it's not like the instructors aren't accessible to you. It's just that, with asynchronous, you have the flexibility of doing your work whatever day or night, anytime you need. And they're usually on a weekly basis. So you usually have at least a week to complete each assignment. Okay, and then the last class I have to mention is called N100WE. 100W is an upper GE writing course, and nursing 100WE is talking about evidence-based practice. You guys know what that is? Yeah, evidence-based practice, research, right? Another thing is research. Like how do you know why is this protocol set up this way, right? Why do we have you know, whatever, double checks on these high alert meds. Why do we do, you know, this Braden scale to whatever? So that those are all based on research. And so, so the good thing is it's a nursing course. So it fulfills a requirement of evidence-based practice nursing, where if some of you had, there used to be a separate course for that, but now we've combined it. But the other thing that you guys need to be aware of is that it has to meet an upper GE requirement for writing, which means in this course, you have to write at least 8,000 words. So, and I've been told that a one double-spaced page in a paper is about 250 words. So you do have to be prepared that for this course, it's going to be a little heavier. That means that probably you have to write these several 3 to 5 page papers, and at the end, like a 12 to 15 page paper. So, for 3 units. So because students have done this where they said, why is this 3-unit course much easier than this 3-unit course? And now I'm telling you why. Because this 100 WE is kind of like killing 2 birds with 1 stone, and that a writing course is a writing course, and we can't get away with how much is required for that in terms of writing. And so, does that make sense? So I think that that's one course that sometimes students get behind in submitting their assignments. So that's why I'm letting you know that try not to fall behind, and you know, all of us are very approachable. If you're having a tough week and you know something happened, just send an email instead of like hiding and not letting anyone know. Just let the instructor know that, you know, something happened this week. I didn't get around to this assignment, or you know, or the day before, and it's like I really need an extension. So as long as you stay connected with us, we know that you're still committed to, you know, fulfilling the requirements of the course. And we know that, you know, a lot of you are practicing nurses and in this transition. So we're not so tough on due dates than probably you're used to in that way. Yes, Audrey.
Just a little clarification for those of us who have taken Nursing 128 as part of like the bridge program, are we still required to take this evidence-based practice writing class?
Okay, if you've taken 128, that's why I was gonna, I believe then you would have to take Public Health 100W, and I do a course substitution. Because in the past, that's what happened. So you'd be taking a writing course on public health issues, which is still related to nursing, because again, in the second semester, you're going to be doing community health, you know, practicum and theory, which is essentially a bit of public health. So look for that for PH 100W.
Okay.
And then during this transitional period, I've been having to fill out substitution forms where the 128 and the PH 100W equals nurse 100WE.
Okay, thank you.
So, yeah.
I have a question similar.
Yeah, sure.
I was just wondering if we did take the 100W and the N128, would we have to do a substitution as well?
Yeah, that's what they made. So if you've already taken both of them, yeah, just let me know. You have to initiate the 100W. So probably on the first day of class or something, I'll show you the form. And then you would initiate the first part, you know, put in your student ID number and the courses and an unofficial transcript showing that, yeah, you completed it. And then I will sign off on it. And then the director of the program signs off on it. And then it should be fine. Then it'll go to the registrar. Yeah, 128's not offered anymore, but I know there's still lingering people that have that. So that's fine. And in your case, it'll work out okay because of that, we've reduced units at the end. So it should work out. You know, you need a minimum of 120 units for a bachelor's degree. But you can have more. So it might work out that maybe you have like a couple units more, but that's fine. It wouldn't affect anything. What's the maximum, Jeremy? Like 135 or something like
I
that?
think when you hit like 135, 140, then the university will slap a hold on you and make you go to AARS and explain why it's taking you so long to get your degree. But
Yeah.
I rarely see that happen. And kind of like April was saying, the 120 units, you have to think of that as the bare minimum. It's not like that's the maximum you're going to take. That's the bare minimum you need to get out of here. And for nursing students and a lot of our other majors, it's more common than not students go beyond that. So don't panic. You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't screw up or anything. It's very likely you'll go beyond 120 units.
Yeah, that's right. Because as I mentioned, even though like in the first semester, so it's 3, 6, 9, you have 9 units, and that's considered a full-time load. You know, you'd be paying for a full-time load. If you have financial aid, you may have to take 12 units. And so to get financial aid, that means that you can take one of the additional electives that you need to take, or some, you know, you'd work with us, you know, Jeremy and people like that, to figure out how to keep your financial aid. So that's how people go more units. And towards the end, if you need a couple of units, there's something called independent study, Nurse 180, which you can do if you needed that. So you can, if you don't know what to take, or you don't want to take another course, you can take an independent study and work with the nursing department. You know, some especially some RN to BSN students love helping new students. I mean, brand new students in the skills lab, help them learn how to do a head-to-toe assessment, or even take vital signs and things like that. And you can do that, you know, for a couple extra units here and there. It's a maximum of 4 units towards your degree, but so sometimes people do that if they just need, you know, 1 or 2 units. If you came from De Anza College, sometimes it works out that way because they're on the quarter system. So everything that's, you know, a 3-unit course, I think it's like 2.67. So I've had a couple of students that they were just shy of what they needed. So they needed to take a couple of units of something like that. And also, if our simulation lab is open and you want to know more about simulation, you could also help in the sim lab, setting up the scenarios and recording people and things like that. Okay, so that's our first semester. The second semester is, like I say, community health practicum. So that's the one time when there is a traditional, you know, just like you went to various clinical rotations, right? So that would be 1 day a week. You need 120 hours there. There's a various sites. So of course, this is not a hospital where it could be the public health department. It could be what we call nurse managed center, or a community center. We have various centers throughout San Jose State that serve older people, like, you know, like kind of senior centers kind of things, senior services, homeless people, and also departments that when people are discharged from the hospital to follow up on them. So it's, you know, it's post hospital visits to their home. And we also are connecting with an elementary school, because that's also public health. You don't necessarily have a lot of choice. And I mean, some cases you may, in some cases you may not. It depends on what's available, because you might like really want a particular place, but you know, you might not get a spot there. So we kind of, actually we pray for getting enough clinical sites every semester. So you would have to take off 1 day a week. It's usually a Tuesday or Thursday for that. And then for that semester, the 2 courses you're taking would be primarily asynchronous. Again, a couple of meeting times. And then in your senior semester, you've got a senior leadership course and what we call a senior project. And it's pretty open-ended, whether you do sort of a quality assurance research project with a faculty person. It could be at your workplace. That means you could decide that people at wherever setting you work need a specific type of training, or in service on something. So you develop the in-service, you present the in-service, you give them a post in-service survey about what they learned, and then you write up a paper about it and you report on it. So you're actually doing, some scholarly work there. In other cases, you may want to choose a particular area of nursing to research, and then we might hook you up in the hospital with the infection control nurse, with the diabetic nurse educator, with various people like that. What I'm saying is that for our RN to BSN students, unless you specifically request it, we don't pair you with a traditional clinical preceptor like you might have had in your program. If you didn't have it in your ADN program and you really want it, then you let me know. So in some cases we can't, like you say, I really want to be paired with, a nurse in the ICU and do a more traditional, clinical preceptorship. So that's a possibility if we can get it, but otherwise we actually are giving you other types of projects that are like kind of beyond the bedside, because a lot of other nurses are already working. I mean, a lot of other students are already working at the bedside, so they don't really want to then do a preceptorship at the bedside. They want to learn something different, a different aspect of nursing. Could be, a lot of interesting things happening now since COVID occurred. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people looking at trends and statistics and things like that. Kiana, did you want to say something? I didn't know. No? Okay. Does anybody have any questions then? So it's a 3-semester program. We like you guys to move forward together as a cohort, because you kind of get to know each other. And in some courses, you will be doing some group projects together, which, you probably meet via Zoom and through the Canvas platform. And, but if something happens, then like I'm your advisor, so you just need to send me an email. If you feel you can't take like 3 courses per semester, what can happen is you can become a special progression student. But the only thing with special progression and going part-time is that you don't have priority. So the people that are trying to get through in 3 semesters, they would have priority, and then you would fill in where you can. And if one semester it happens we don't have enough sites or places for, you might have to sit out another semester. But we were just looking this up. As long as you get your degree we can't really stop you from how long it takes. So it's as long as you're trying within 5 years. But the truth is you cannot go for more than a whole year without at least taking 1 course. So if you start in the fall and then you get a job and you say, oh, there's a new grad orientation and blah, 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 and I need to take, some time off. Again, we can do that. We can fill out a leave of absence, but then you have to come back in fall 2022 and at least take something to keep on the books and keep going. Okay. Otherwise, after a while, you're it's going to be too late. Maybe our program will change and you have to start from the beginning again. And every one of these courses, as now I'm getting through with some of the students, you do a lot of work. You do a body of work for each of our courses, lots of papers that you write, which I suggest you keep in a folder, because they're very useful towards getting a job. It gives you a lot to talk about. The interviews, everything, when you go for job hunting, and now how they really, want people to have bachelor's degrees. The reason why is that we're looking at all these trends in patient care, in nursing, staffing, and all this stuff. You have a lot to talk about. And that's why they prefer, because when you go to the interview, you can blow them away. So much information. You'll be so confident and, you know how to make a difference in nursing. You're not just somebody that's like, okay, I'm here, I'm going to help, you know, you're going to understand that we're working towards a better health for everyone, preventative care and identifying risks and all that kind of stuff.
For our additional upper division classes, the general ed, do we just choose those on our own? Again, we choose what semester we want to take those additional?
Yes. So, okay, so the only people that are waived from the area R and the area V, the two upper GE electives, are people that already have a bachelor's degree. But if you don't have a bachelor's degree, you need to take two courses. One that's the physical earth and environment, kind of a course like that. That can be from geology to climate change. A lot of different things that are very interesting. I think epidemiology, there's a course like that. And of course, they tell me all kinds of courses, genetically modified foods. And if you want to know more about bacteria or all kinds of things in the environment, which is kind of scary, you know, like that live in volcanoes and stuff, but okay. And then the other one is area V, which is culture. And you don't have to worry about anything else. They're making some changes that aren't going to be implemented till 2023. So you'll be out of here by then, right? So you don't have to worry about the area F. But actually what we're doing is we're going to cater our community health course anyway towards the area F, which is ethnic diversity. So otherwise, you'd have to take a course, which you still could as an elective. We have African American studies, we have Asian American studies, we have Latino American studies. I don't know what other courses, but it's a course like that that's now becoming a San Jose State requirement.
And then one last question, sorry. For like minor degrees, who can we like kind of consult with about that kind of stuff? About getting a minor in like public health, for instance.
Well, I can probably jump in with this one.
So
I will say, first of all, the nursing program, I'm sure April will agree, is extremely busy. It may seem like you're not taking a full load of units, but it will feel like over a full load of units. I don't usually see RN to BSN students select a minor because you're only here for 3 semesters, and most minors are around 15 to 18 units. That's a whole semester's worth of work. So if you really wanted a minor, I would almost guarantee that you're going to be here for another semester. And on top of that, if you really still want to go for it, I would definitely talk to April about that and make sure that it's not going to conflict with your nursing classes. But if you still want to go through with it, just come talk to me or anybody else in the Success Center. It's actually pretty easy to declare a minor I'm stumbling over my words here. It's easy to declare a minor as long as you're under 90 units, which for a lot of you transfer students is going to be just this fall semester. So I hate to discourage people, but in this particular major, I really hesitate to say that that would be a good idea.
Okay, thank you.
yeah, and I would say that there were a few students because they, have taken so many science and biology classes that I'd say that that's the most common one is a minor in biology, which I think doesn't really make that much of a difference to have a minor in biology because you've taken at least biology, anatomy, physiology, micro, right? And then I think you have to take like 6 courses or something in biology to get a minor, something like that. But I don't think that makes much difference. If they love seeing that R and BSN, right? And then with a minor in biology, okay, because I know that all nurses at least took 4 courses in biology. So if you took 6 courses,
If you want
right?
some anecdotal experience too, I know it's a little different because I definitely wasn't a nursing major, but I got a minor in French and I've had a lot of job interviews, a lot of things that happened since then. Not once has anybody ever cared about it or asked me about it. Your mileage may vary, but that's been my experience. I don't regret like learning another language, but yeah, no one's cared at all about my minor. So
Yeah, that's what I would say too. And what was more effective is truthfully, once you get out there, depending on the employer, like if you work at a, you know, a major hospital and stuff like that, is trying to get them to fund your specialization, which they should pay for at like a certification that, like Stanford's good at that. Like, so if you work in the oncology department, if they pay for, you know, it's about $3,000 for that chemotherapy certification, or if you're in the operating room, you know, different places like that. Those look really good. And then nowadays, if you want to be a manager or move up to a more leadership position, you probably need a master's degree. So that's something to keep in your back of your mind. So that, all that, you know, probably would do more for your career than taking a few extra courses in your undergraduate to get a minor.
Do our public health hours count towards hours to like a public health nurse certificate for this program?
All you need for the public health nurse certificate is the clinical, the 120 clinical hours, the 3 units of nursing theory we provide, and then you can already put that for the board of, it's a separate application to the Board of Registered Nurses, kind of similar to what you do for the RN, but you don't need to take an exam. It gets verified by our school, and then you automatically get a public health nurse certificate number. And I'll tell you, I have that, and I don't renew it. Every 2 years you have to pay for it, like your RN. Like I just had to pay for my RN again. It's $150 every 2 years. And the public health is $300 every 2 years. And so I'm not working as a public health nurse right now, so I don't renew that, but it's still there because it's my number. Nobody else gets that number. And if I ever wanted to do it again, because I did do something where I thought about maybe it would be better if I had the certification, you can pay for it again. I mean, you can, but it's your number for life, not like your regular RN, as long as you keep your RN. Any other certificates you have, like if you ever have an advanced practice certification, and those are more expensive and stuff, but then you're not practicing in the area, it's the same thing. You keep that number, and then you can reactivate it. You might have to take some CEU courses and do something to reactivate it, but you don't necessarily lose it. It's just like you don't lose your college degree, but it does become, it could be, you know, kind of just dormant, you know, where I don't know what to say about that.
Well, just think if you canceled your Netflix subscription for a month and you went back to it, all your preferences would still be there, but you don't get access to it for that month, right?
Yeah.
I think that's similar. Again, I'm not a nurse.
Yeah, because I've let things go. Of course, if you go too long, because I was an emergency room nurse, and then you can't afford to keep, they're all, I'll tell you, they're all like $300, $400 a year to keep up. And then it's great when you're employed in that and your employer pays for it. But then if you're not doing that area, you decide whether you want to keep it up or not. So, but that's what's so great about nursing. There's so many areas, so many fields to
Question.
branch out to. Yes.
Yeah. So if we're minoring in public health, do some of the courses, like, are they shared with the nursing program?
I don't know that. Do you know, Jeremy, if that community health nursing counts towards public health?
Well,
I don't know.
So you're asking if the minor would count towards any of your major classes or vice versa,
yeah.
Right? Yeah, no. Unfortunately, that's not the case. And on top of that, any minor that you do at San Jose State, at least 12 units of that minor have to be separate and distinct from the major. So most of the time you can only double count maybe 1 or 2 classes, but all the classes you're going to take for the nursing program are nursing classes, and the public health minors don't require any nursing classes. So unfortunately there wouldn't be any crossover there.
Yes, I guess you'd have to take different courses. Like I say, maybe that epidemiology, I think that's why some people take that. I'm not sure. Does that count as area?
It doesn't count as any SJSU studies to my knowledge.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's something that some people take that is an area.
I think it's PH 135, which is the health multiculturalism that public health has to take.
Oh, okay.
But you know, that meets an area S, and you get your area S met just by doing the nursing program. I think it's 178 or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so they are kind of separate. Yeah. Any other questions then about our program or what to expect?
I might throw out something too while you guys are thinking about questions. I know a lot of you are probably, well, hopefully wondering like, hey, how do I apply for graduation? I'm only here for 3 semesters. What is that process going to look like? Well, as nursing students, you're in a pretty fortunate situation because normally we tell students to apply a year out for graduation. So that would mean if you're going to graduate fall 2022, which is the case for all of you, you would want to apply this upcoming fall semester. And really the advantage that gives you is something called priority registration, which guarantees that you'll have an early registration date to get into the classes you need for your major. But you're already guaranteed to get into your classes for your major, provided you don't like skip a semester or something like that. So that priority registration really isn't going to mean that much to you guys. And what's going to happen is as soon as you're eligible for graduation, you're going to get an email from me letting you know exactly what you need to do. And it's a very easy process. You're hitting like 2 buttons on your My SJSU. Very simple, I promise you. But until you get that email from me, you're not going to be eligible for graduation. And but I promise you, you will get that email as soon as you're eligible, and I'll let you know what you need to do. So you just need to be patient until you get that. And for some of you, it's going to be different. A lot of it's going to depend on like when your NCLEX scores get in, stuff like that. So again, don't freak out if you miss the application period this fall. It's literally not going to matter to you. You have all the way up until the semester. You can apply the same semester you're graduating even. So just wait for that email from me. I promise it'll come as soon as you're eligible, and then it's a very easy process from there.
Yeah, just check your My SJSU at some point, because green means good. Green boxes is good. If you have a lot of red, that means that something hasn't been turned in yet or you haven't done it. Then you got to, make sure that you figure out what's going on. Why hasn't something you've taken been entered into your, transcript? And then yellow, it should be your current courses that you're taking, right? That you're taking, but you don't have a grade yet, right? So, but yeah, if there's a lot of red, then you try and figure it out ahead of time. But hopefully it's getting easier now that we kind of are streamlining it a little bit more. So yeah, so I'll work with all you on if you need course substitutions for like the 100W and 128, but I hope moving on then there won't be too many of those.
Sorry, April, one thing
Sure.
I will add, just because you were talking about substitutions, April can only do major substitutions. So if you look at your My Progress and see that you're missing a GE or an American Institutions requirement or something like that, just come straight to the Success Center. We'll either let you know how you can fulfill it or figure out what went wrong somewhere along the way. So anything nursing related for substitutions, April, anything beyond that, Success Center.
Yeah, like those area R&D and whatever else you might be interested in taking. Another thing you could take for a unit is our fitness center. I don't know if you live close to San Jose. If that weight opens up again, people do that too. They take weight training or whatever, and counts as college credit and gets you in shape, right? So, any other questions? Nobody has any questions? You
Guess we
feel
did a
prepared?
good job explaining things.
Yeah. Yeah, so the first semesters, you're not having clinical contact with patients in our course. So you don't have to worry about that stuff to begin with, but you do start a Castle Branch account. I don't know if you've had that previously. So, when you go to community health in your second semester, of course you would have to have an active, BLS for healthcare providers, that's not expired. And you'll have to have malpractice insurance and a whole bunch of stuff like that. And you'll get information about Castle Branch before the beginning of this semester, but keep in mind that everything has to be active for your second semester and your third semester. Because your third semester, you could be doing things in the clinical acute care setting. So you have to be you know, all the immunizations or whatever are qualified, that you need to qualify for having that all up to date.
I do have a question. For second semester, do we start right away in the clinical setting?
Typically not, no. Yeah, so, you know, our semesters are 16 weeks. You probably won't start the clinical till like week 3. So probably the first 2 weeks, you'll just have your regular classes, and then they'll tell you about your clinical, like when to show up, what to wear, all that stuff. That varies a lot. People ask me, and it depends on what the setting is.
Okay. And then
As you know,
typically, what's the start date for spring semester?
late January. So
Yeah,
probably like the 3rd week in January.
I think it's
something
like the
that.
21st. I can actually check that really quick.
Yeah, it's usually late January. It's just like late August and late January is typically.
Thank you.
It's just slightly off. It's the January 26th is when spring semester will start.
Yeah, so yeah. So and we'll be done the week before Christmas. So you've got that like month basically. Well, I don't know what I'm saying basically to do, but anyway, no school. We have a 3-week semester, but from early January to late 3-week courses, but I don't recommend you. Some people try to cram something in there. I say take a break.
Yeah, I would echo that. But if you really, really are feeling motivated, you could probably knock out one of your SJSU studies, either your R or your V, pretty easily during the winter session. They always offer a few R and V and S for that matter classes. But again, you don't have to worry about S during the winter session. And they definitely range in difficulty, especially the area R. So just pay attention to what you're signing up for and make sure you're at least a little interested in it. I find that helps a lot for just keeping motivated for finishing those classes and everything. But yeah, the R and the V, you can choose whatever you want in that list of classes for those specific ones. So
yeah, I took I think it was teaching technologies or something in that 3-week thing, and we had to do so we had 15 days, right? And we had to do 18 assignments in 15 days.
yeah,
so I don't recommend that. I didn't like it at all.
It's like a 4 or 5 hour class, like 4 to 5 days a week for those 3 weeks. So it's pretty intense.
Yeah, it's 15 days. So.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But if you guys don't have any other questions, do you have anything else for them, April?
I don't know. Did I miss something? Because we'll have our meet and greet later. Once I have real dates to give you, real nuts and bolts stuff. I'll be still working on the book list, and that'll be out mid-summer, like in probably July. It'll be posted on our website, and it might be sent to you. I'm not sure, but so none of that stuff's done. I'm kind of a cheapskate when it comes to books, so I do try and use the library, and most of my courses, I don't require you to buy a textbook or, so the very first, I think I will have you read this again. It's called This Is How It Always Is. So it's a little novel, and it's called This Is How It Always Is. I can't remember the author right now. It costs about $15. It's a little book about a family who's raising a transgender child. So my course 112 Professional Practice Success has to do with caring for all people. It's kind of a strong health equity, equity in healthcare, cultural considerations tone to it. And so we will hit issues like those. So that's the only book you have to pay for in that class is the $15 book. I get other courses you'll have a textbook for, I don't control everybody. I'd like to, but I don't. So you'll have that book list, but no other questions then?
Guys all set, probably done with Zoom for the day, I imagine, huh? Believe me, we feel that fatigue just as much as you guys. Well, okay, if you're set, April, we can just move on to getting them all checked out then, huh?
Okay, great meeting you, and look forward to meeting you again in the fall, and hope you have a great summer, and good luck in all you're doing.
Yes. So don't log out just yet. We do have a checkout process. So is anybody on a phone by any chance right now? Just a show of hands. Nobody? Okay, great. That makes things a lot easier. So in your Zoom window, if you go down to the bottom right, you should see leave room. If you click on that, you have two options, leave meeting and leave breakout room. You're going to want to leave the breakout room. You'll have a QR code you're going to scan, do a little survey, helps us take attendance and everything too, because this was a mandatory event and all the nursing students showed up. So good job, you guys. But yeah, just you can go ahead at this point, just leave the breakout room, go back to the main room, do the survey and the QR code, and you're all set. All right.
A quick question.
Oh, sure.
I'm on an iPad. Does that?
Oh, yes. Do you have a button that says leave?
Yeah, it's blue, but I don't want to leave the whole meeting, you know?
Yeah,
So
it won't
not
let
sure
you. If you just hit leave, it'll then give you the two options.
Okay, let me try right now. Thank you.
All right, sure.
Oh, just leave breakout room, right?
You got it, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right, sure.